All right, welcome to the weekly review, crypto review, where we assess where the market is and see what's happening. This is dubious speculation, so take it with a pinch of salt, do your own research, and none of this is financial advice. Okay, so let's start with Bitcoin, and I'm going to start on the monthly chart and show what the monthly close was. So if you look at the monthly close for January, it wasn't great. And that's why obviously we're coming back. Most of the time, this close, we should have really had some form of retest here before coming down, but it didn't happen. We just gashed down. We're now close to the 50 SMA. This is the 50 SMA. We've smashed through the 50 EMA. So the SMA is kind of holding us support. I think ultimately we will form a local bottom here, a local bottom within this zone here. So between 60K and maybe 52,000. So if I just draw a box around that, so somewhere here we will form our bottom, local bottom, and lock it in, lock it, put an alert on it to alert me when we come back in. So somewhere there, I think is what's going to happen. We'll come back into it, mm, consolidate here for some months. We may potentially bounce and come and retest this since we didn't do the retest. So we could come and do the retest around 84, 85K, and then come back into this box and play around here for a while, consolidate for a while, similar to how you formed the bottom here. And we went sideways for a while before we started going up. That'll be the similar story I'd expect to happen here. Um, So that's the monthly view. If you look at the daily chart, there's some really good promising stuff in there. What you can see here is that we've got uh, a bullish candle here. There's a bullish divergence on this candle. Um, and so it's looking good, but I'd expect a retest. So, back into this box somehow, somewhere around 64,000. You could get 63,000, you know, and then hopefully go back to that 84,000 that I was presenting on the monthly chart. So you've got an initial target here of this candle, which is 78. And then ultimately, there's a candle here at 84, which is likely where they're going to go. Another thing as well is you've got the CME chart, and you can see there's a gap on the CME chart as well. So which has to be filled to the upside. There is because of this candle is a strong closing candle, strong volume. So, I'd expect that we will go up next week into closing that gap. This pullback is a great opportunity to obviously, pick some Bitcoin for a short trade. This is not a long-term trade, but a short trade. Because we could go all the way to 84, close the gap, and come back and do a lower high or a lower low. And then we hopefully will have some consolidation and then we can go up some more. So that's kind of Bitcoin. And also on this CME chart, there is a gap at 53,953, which I would expect will be closed, and that will give you kind of that will give us a divergence on this daily chart. So, price would go all the way back there, come back lower here, and then create a divergence where the RSI would probably come back to 30, but not go below this point here. And that gives you a divergence for a sustained move to the upside. So that's what we're seeing on Bitcoin. I'm going to just review the BTC pairs for some of the odds that I'm interested in. So if you look at ETH, for example, this was a good close as well, good volume. ETH BTC, good volume on it. Um, there is a dead cross incoming. So this dead cross, I think it probably can rally all the way back up to somewhere here around the point 031. So somewhere there, let's put our line there and it may face some real resistance here, whilst also Bitcoin obviously goes to 84K. So, and then it will probably come down and create another divergence whilst the dead cross plays out. So ultimately, there's still some more candles here that needs to be recovered. These haven't been recovered yet. So my base case is the Ethereum still comes lower. Its BTC comes lower after the slight move up to form a lower low, or even we could go all the way down to this point. If I bring it quickly to the ETH USD pair, so all you can see here is a good close. So ultimately, you can expect some move to the upside to happen. But I think you might have a pullback to somewhere here, 1868, somewhere there before you obviously keep going. Keep going. This uh, this divergence hasn't proven itself yet, and I'm a bit suspicious. Today's close will give us an indication. I think there will be definitely a pullback first before we continue going up. It won't just gallop away. So, but if you're looking for those levels to match the BTC, then you're talking somewhere here, 1600, 1400, somewhere there. I think price will come to and maybe even go slightly lower. But I think at this point it will be a good place to stack some ETH around that. And also it also crossing the generational line that we've got as well. So you've got a trend line that touches there and comes to cut through here. So if we come lower, slightly below it, that would be okay. So watch if this line breaks, then of course it will be coming way back to the lows. I don't think so, but anything can happen in this market. Just got to be prepared for it. So that's ETH. Let's move on to Aave. So Aave BTC and Aave BTC as well is currently we had a good weekly close. The week is not closed, but the daily close was good. Yeah, the daily close was good volume. So I think this can go up first before coming back down again. So this divergence here, it's a kind of a double bottom type scenario, double bottom type scenario on this. So it's looking good on Aave BTC. You had a low there, you've had another low here, so we have a divergence, clear divergence on the daily chart. Not so on the weekly chart. So the weekly hasn't hit below 30 yet. So you might have a relief bounce on the daily chart, and then after that you come back lower again. So ultimately, I think you would see RVBTC come back to these lows, and maybe even go lower a little bit first before we start actually, motoring. It will come very close to the 30 at the very least, or go slightly lower. Then we have a kind of a low. So that's RVBTC, and let's move on to CRVBTC and CRVBTC. We don't have any confirmed divergence yet on the weekly. We may do, but at the moment, nothing is confirmed yet. We may do by the end of the week, from what is painting out here. We're also at a point where we are close to the bottom here as well. So, you could get a bit of a bounce on our BTC. If you go to the daily chart, you can see the daily chart as well. We have some divergences playing out here. So, we could potentially go up first. We could potentially go up. If this weekly divergence confirms, then you probably go up and come and form a lower high, and then continue going up. So this is what obviously we are looking for. So let's see what happens with this one. Well, this one looking good. If I go to CRV USD chart on the weekly, we don't really have a divergence yet, which means even if you go up here, you're going to come back lower on the USD pair, and the daily chart got a good divergence on this one. So potentially it will do a pullback to maybe where my line is again, 0.22, and then continue going and go and retest this 50, and potentially fail and come back down again, to form a lower high or slightly lower double bottom. on CRV. Fetch FET. If we look at FET BTC on the daily chart, and here you can see here and here we've got a beautiful divergence formed here. So a little bit of a pullback maybe, and then you can continue kind of going up. This looks good, I would say. And then let's see whether the weekly is giving us anything. So we have a low here and we haven't have another low. So on the weekly, you'll more likely this will come slightly lower. The RSI here is the RSIs will come lower again, but they won't go below here and they won't go below there. So there's a bit more falling after the relief rally on the daily chart. So let's have a quick look at the USDT pair and see what's going on there. On the weekly chart, we can see here we've got here and here we're forming some divergences are forming. So you can see a low there and a higher low there. So if it confirms this week on the USD pair, you may get a bit of a rally on FET because it's creating a divergence. If we can go slightly below this candle, below the candle here, we've already gone below it. So it's looking good. If we go on the daily chart, so we have another beautiful divergence here, and it needs to prove itself. It's not proving itself yet. I think potentially you could get us coming back into it around here and then go and attack this 50. So about 0.22, 0.23, somewhere there. You'd expect price to go back into next week. So that's FET, but not the bottom yet. IMIX. So IMIX BTC. I don't think I have IMX BTC here. What a shame. Let's just look at a USD pair, and then we'll move on. So this one, yeah, another good divergence created here, but it needs to prove itself. So, I'd expect a pullback. I'd expect a pullback to somewhere here. And then into next week, I'd expect us to go and reattest this. So you're talking 0.23 from about 0.14. So it's not a bad move. And then you have face some resistance here. And if it breaks through it, then we'll be going way high. But this one looks good. This one looks really good because the RSIs have gone lower here, have gone lower there, have gone lower here. If we bring it to the daily chart, weekly chart, sorry. The weekly, we don't have a divergence confirming yet. So if this week confirms, if say we get to that 0.23 zone, which is here, by the end of next week, then you can do a lower high or a lower low, and hopefully that'll be the end of it, and then you'll be going up. So IMIX is also looking good. I mean, any buys between here, 0.15, and I'd probably say 0.10 is a good buy. You're there about. So for spot buying, accumulating some of these at these prices, it's not a bad idea. And then if we go to fat coin, so fat coin, if we look at it on this one, which is clean. Okay, so I made a few lines here. Let me clear all of them. Too many lines. Remove the drawings. We don't want to see it. Okay, good. So what you can see here, we had this low and are expecting this low to be exceeded, and we've exceeded that low. So at the moment, we're looking to see whether we can create a divergence. So you can see here, so that's the low. So hopefully if we can, then that will be a weekly divergence created. If we go into the daily chart, what you can see on the daily chart is we have got a very good divergence here. So I'd expect this to go up, but I expect that, today and maybe even to tomorrow, you might see a pullback to maybe somewhere 18, somewhere there. You might get pulled back to that zone, and then you'll be going because this divergence has proven itself. Yes, there's some conflicting signals on this divergence being a weak divergence, but volume is strong, so a pullback into it. That support we get proves the divergence, and then you can go up and test around 3.0. So this is looking good. This could double easily, fat coin. So and then let's move on to the next one, ICP. So ICP BTC, what you can see on ICP BTC. So on the daily chart, we kind of we're playing with this trend line. We are on it. So here and there, we're on it. So, but we seem to be rejected. We've come rejected. We come rejected, and this is also another rejection. So potentially it could come back lower. It could come back lower to somewhere here, 317, or even go slightly lower. From a lower price before, then that creates a good divergence. I mean, here between here and here at the moment, this is the low point, and this is the low point here. We're going lower, and so if we don't go below here, that's okay. So if we come lower, and this price here, if we come lower below here, or even lower than this, and the RSI stays still higher than this point here, 32.83, then we're good. Then we're good. So we'll be watching for that to see if we, however, also break above this 50. If we manage to close above this 50 SMA, 850 EMA, then and the SMA and the EMA. If we break above them, then there's a change in trend. You'll be going up high. So that's the USD, that's the BTC pair. And then if we look at the USD pair, here, let's have a look at this. So we had some good close on this as well. So it's a very good close, good volume. There's the divergence needs to prove itself. It's not proving itself yet. So I think we'll potentially come to about the 2.6 zone. And I wouldn't want to see price go below even 3.0 actually. 3.0 would be between 3.0, I'll say, and two, let's call it 2.1. If price closes on the daily chart below that, then that'll be the end of it. And, you'll come and form a lower price. So we'll be watching for that as well on this USDT pair. And then lastly, what's the last coin? Is Filecoin. Oh, Render, sorry, Render BTC. Render BTC on the daily chart again had a good pump, but it's still playing with the SMA, the 50 SMA. Um, I suspect we will come all the way down to this point here because all these candles are liquidity candles, which needs to be sucked back. So I think there will be some more bleeding on render, on render BTC, right? And let's go and look at the render USD pair and see what is going on there. Let's have a look. So here you can see here we had a good pump as well. Again, it's not proving the RSI, it's confirming that it's not proving itself yet from a divergence perspective. So, but we've taken all the liquidity, all of it has been taken. So, and we've gone lower than here, and the RSI is still higher. So there's a divergence in play at the moment. I think for a rally perspective, we come to about 125, 125. I wouldn't want to see price below 125 here. 125. I wouldn't want to see price below that. If price were to go below that, then it means we'll go lower first, lower be below this candle before the rally to about 175, 174. And if we break above this 50, then we are off to this point here, which would be 260. So that's render as well. And let's move on to the last one, which is Filecoin. So Filecoin BTC is on the weekly chart. Come on. We do have a divergence on the weekly chart, which is great to see. It's looking good. So, this strong volume zone pumped us, and we've come back lower, slightly lower. What we need to see is, maybe come slightly lower than this, slightly lower. I think this is beginning to starting to look good. So, we'll move our let to somewhere there. Somewhere there, I think will be a good place. And Filecoin really has, and yeah, there's a lot of potential on it. So it's looking good monthly wise. It's also looking good as well because this stopping candle, if we exceed it and create a bullish candle in February, then March, you'll be going up into February. So I think this thing could could crank up if this month confirms. We need the monthly close to confirm. The weekly and the daily are looking positive for me. So this is looking good. Might come down a little bit, but it's looking good. And then you've got the Filecoin USD. Same story on all of these. Most of these altcoins, the pump affected all of them. And you can see here again, it's not proving itself. So, we would expect that at least you would come back all the way to somewhere here, somewhere there, 0.88, 0.88, create a divergence, and then we'll be on our way to test around the 131, 132 zone. So that's the crypto review. That's all I've got. So, in summary, picking some coins here for spot buying is it's not a bad idea. It's there or thereabouts in terms of, the down. And if you bought 50% of your bag here and you bought another 50% when it goes down to say zero point 0.5, you're there or thereabouts. If your horizon is, 12 to 18 months, it may not even take that long. It could be as quickly as 6 months, you'll be down here to about 180. And if you're buying at point 0.8, you double your money quite easily. So that's all I've got. I wish you all the best and God bless and ta-ta.